Now we come back to studio and start our second conversation of this program. We want to talk about women in technology, and they shall be telling us what they do, how they have found the experience so far, and just the strides that women are making to ensure that they are represented in the tech space. And to have this conversation with me is Antonina Moturi, who is a citizenship manager at ABSA Kenya Foundation, seated on my immediate left. And on my far left is Veronica Nzimbo, who is a software developer. She tells me to call her a techie. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Asanteni sana.
Yes.
We know that the number of women in technology, in the tech space, is still very low in the country. Let's start with you, the techie in the room, Nzimbo.
Yeah.
What has been your experience and how did you get to where you are?
It was down the line. Back in 2018, while I joined campus, it was an initiative from my big sister who encouraged me to take computer science. I wasn't much into it, but after pursuing that, then I felt like, oh, I have to go with this. So that is how I felt I should embrace it and become a techie. Yeah.
And how has the journey been so far?
It's not a smooth journey. Sometimes you try this. I guess we have issues with bugs. Maybe you say, you saw someone who is best at it. You feel like you also want to be that. But by the time you are trying it, so many things happen in the process, and you feel like giving up and saying, this is not meant for us. Let's just the gents do it because they do it at the best. But the moment we've been having some mentorship and they say, you have to do it. The more you do it, the more you practice, the more you get better. So that is how I started, and I felt encouraged every time, every now and then, with the lecturers and also my parents. They really worked to make sure I won't give up and stop doing it. So that is how I did, and this is where I am right now.
Right, now you're in the job market.
I can't say I'm in the job market. I'm currently doing an internship.
That is the job market. That is where most of us start anyway.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'm currently doing my internship. Yeah.
Okay. And let's hear from you, Antonina, in terms of support for women in technology. What has your role been?
Allow me just to go a bit back on the role of the ABSA Kenya Foundation.
Okay.
We believe in enhancing digital literacy in Kenya, and we are led by the vision that we are here to empower communities. We say we are empowering Africa together, one story at a time. So it's looking at these stories of young women, of our communities around us, and seeing how do we support them. And one of the programs that we've run since 2022 is providing computers, desktops to select schools across the country. We identify an institution done through our branch network. We provide desktops, we provide seats, we provide chairs, and we network it fully, because we know in filling that digital gap, we are giving our young people opportunity to compete in the global scene. Coming home with the Girl Code initiative, because we know STEM subjects, girls are still not doing very well. And we see this in our data when we have the KCP, KCSE announcements that young girls are not able to get on that platform. So because this is something that we do anchored in our pillar on education and skills, we provided this platform by hosting these girls in our head office. We put out an announcement out there, and they said, why don't you come into our space? Why don't you come and try out these problem statements? Because we know as we provide that platforms, many of them will come to know one another. Just as what we've heard from Veronica, seemingly it's not as easy as we think. As organizations such as ourselves, how do we provide them that platform to know that they have mentors in this field? through our mentors internally and through other corporates that we have worked with, they get to network. Even that network is good enough for them to know that there's someone out there and they have done it. Now we have an older brother and older sister that we can always look up to. And that's the gap that the foundation and the bank want to fill, that as much as we are talking about digital literacy in the programs that we've done, then we can provide them with a platform, a place that is safe for them, a place that they can come and network and know that they have older brothers and sisters and they can do well in this field. Yeah.
I'm happy that you've mentioned the issue of STEM subjects. Of course, before we even get to university, like her choosing to take the computer science course, albeit reluctantly, it starts back there when you're getting into a maths class, a science class, you know, and having the interest. So I'd like to hear both from an institutional perspective, that is from you, and you from a personal perspective, in terms of how to make sure that more girls at the very young age are not looking at STEM subjects as something for the boys, you know, something not for me, or if I do it, I'm peculiar. How do we make sure that we change this mindset from that level? I can start with you, since you're there in the industry.
Okay, probably having initiatives in high schools, and probably tell them when you get into STEM, there are more opportunities, and these are not meant for only gentlemen. And probably have some, how do we call this? Have some, let's say, mentors, as she said, to teach them that if you take, let's say, mathematics, you have to take physics. It's not that bad, and we can make it if we have this positive vibe, that if we study mathematics and study physics, it will help us. Not only is it meant for the gents alone, but having that idea, not only for women or ladies to study more of literature and Swahili, they can also do better in sciences. And doing better in sciences, you will get more opportunities, and it also shape the economy, and which is the main goal. As for Kenya, we work under the gig economy, so that will be a very huge step for us as Kenyans, since a large number of people and population are women compared to men. So changing one lady is like changing the whole community. So it will be an added advantage for us as Kenya. So
thank you. You have something to add?
Not really.
Awesome, thank you. We live in a technology-driven world, and of course, even as companies continue to grow, industries are expanding. We need the technological solutions to deal with our problems, but who is developing these solutions for us, you know? So I'd like to hear from you, Antonina, on what institutions can do to ensure that they are mentoring the younger generation, especially the girls, the women, to come up with these solutions.
All right, thank you for that. Allow me to start with the initial question on what can be done. I think I'll applaud number of institutions, organizations, even the government, on the work they have tried to reach out to the girls and even community, even from the younger age, because by the time you get to university, most of our decisions are kind of made. So it's really collaborative effort, partnerships, and I'll talk on the program that we have at ABSA. We call it the Ready to Work program. It's meant for young people, helping them make a transition to institutions of higher learning. And we do this through our branch networks, our colleagues. It's really a soft skills mentorship program where we go out to our communities and tell them our story. You know, everyone is brought up, or rather we are here because of our stories. My community, where I came from, someone held my hand. So how do I make that decision deliberately going back to my community? And that's why we have that Ready to Work program, and mentoring them from that young age, helping them make a decision, especially the girls. When I don't know why we think STEM subjects are very hard and it's meant for for the boy child or the men, but that conscientious effort to continually have a conversation, to go back and mentor, because that's how we came up. And that's, if someone talked to me, and I'll give my story, is someone came to my primary school, high school, and they formed most of my decisions on how I transitioned in life. Just responding now to the second question on what organizations can do to bridge that tech divide, is really on the knowledge that this is where the world is moving at the end of the day. And how then do we get there if we don't involve young people like Veronica in coming up with the solutions themselves? We have to be alive to the fact that as the world gets there, we also need to be there. And most of the time you find young people already know what they're looking for. So how do we bring them in to help us to form those solutions? Because most of the time they do know. And when we had this Girl Code initiative, we just posed a question on AI, on cybersecurity, fintech, and they came up with brilliant solutions, meaning there's a lot of talent already in the country, and bringing these young people, working collaboratively, we get to bridge that gap that seems to be there, and we all move together, because it's really in the power of partnerships in growing.
The power of partnerships. Just as a case study, Veronica, I'd like to hear from you when you were in school, in your computer science classes, or classes. What was the ratio of boys versus girls?
Okay, back then in our class we had, it was a ratio of 1 to 6. So we had very few ladies, around 10, and then we had around 45 to 50 gentlemen. So that means we still have a big gap for ladies in STEM. Given that is just a simple example, that is our class. And the other classes, for example, the engineering class, we have one lady and let's say 40 gentlemen, and then you feel like we still have a long way to go as Kenya, as for us to have this at least a 50-50 ratio, or maybe a 30 to 50, or maybe 30 to 70 ratio, or even 50 to 50, it's still okay. The way government say a third, 2/3, so we should have that initiative so that we could also have that under STEM. So currently we are trying to, like given an example, having that hackathon, the Girl Code hackathon, with partnership with ABSA Foundation. You get to see that we still have, yes, ladies, we have women who are good, who are passionate in doing so much that is not yet seen outside. But these people have the ideas, but they close them in their laptops, and they don't have anywhere to showcase their good ideas, their innovation. So probably having such foundations like ABSA, it's a really good thing, and I would really like to appreciate them for that opportunity. Yeah.
Right. You bring up some very important pointers. We have the ideas, the innovations that are required, the skill set that is required. But for these innovations to get visibility and even reach to a point where someone has now started a startup, and then even scaling, that is a whole other ball game. I'll throw this one to you, Antonina, in terms of supporting these innovations to grow to a point where they can make money, out of them. Yeah.
All right. Allow me to use the example of the just recent hackathon on the many programs we have within the organization.
Yeah.
I mean, coming to the organization and creating the ideas itself, it's a good thing, but then there has to be impact rather than that. And that's why you find that within our organization we have an innovation hub. You have an idea, then it goes through a period of training, guidance, mentorship to come up with a minimum viable product. Other than that, especially for the winners of the hackathon, we have partnered with an organization, ALX, to go through a founders program. And in this founders program, they'll be exposed to what it means now to take your idea to the next step, to have that prototype. What does it mean to bring that idea in front of investors? How do you pitch it yourself? Then they expose them to mentors, investors, so that they get that learning from them as they look to take the idea further than just it was an idea by the time they came to our platform, but then we are the conduit between them and the exposure out there. And that's why we partner with such organization over and above with what the organization itself offers. So I'm very excited, and I'll be looking forward to the 6 weeks of them learning, intense learning within the LX platform. And we hope to see what they come up with out there. And even after there, we have more programs on how now then do we expose them to the market and even take some of these ideas within the organization. Yeah.
I like that you mentioned the founders program that prepares you for the pitching part of things, because there's a lot of funding that comes into this region, Kenya to be specific, to startups. But when you look at the ratio that is actually going to women-founded startups, it is very minimal. So it is important to prepare these young people at that point of entry to know exactly what you expect. What are you looking forward to, Veronica?
I'm looking forward to the program, the Founders Academy. The one ABSA Foundation Kenya has sponsored us as a team of 4 to get to learn more about how to convert now the ideas into an MVP. And also,
what is an MVP for the sake of our viewers?
It is minimum viable product.
Right.
Yeah. So after getting an MVP, and then maybe move to pitching to investors, and also the ability to know how to get into the market, and also the urge of it being a startup in future. It will be a very good thing. It will also empower women, that we also have women who can have their own startups, and they can also build from something, from a simple idea to a very good product.
Right. Antonina, your comments on that?
I'm very excited for the winners, really. Seeing them come into our office with just their skill, come out of those 30 hours of coding with an idea that got them to win in Kenya. And then beyond that, I'm very excited because we'll get to see what they come out from that room. I think I was mentioning to them earlier that the world is their oyster. They have a blank book to write on. And that's what impact really is just not having a platform, but seeing it through to an extent that it becomes one of the, who knows, the big projects or big innovations in the country. So I'm very excited, and I am very happy that the foundation has been able to bridge this. They have been able to be the conduit for the girls to do much better, especially for girls in technology who may not have had that opportunity. But now with the platform that they got, the mentors in the room, even other girls, one of the girls in their group, they had not met before, they met here. And you see the power of just that platform. It might look simple, but you come out of that room with networks that you'll never have met, with other mentors within the organization and with other partners who came on board. And now going beyond, and I believe LX also within their platform will expose them to international and local investors. Who knows? That's why I'm really excited.
Who knows, indeed. We shall be looking at you guys very keenly, to see what you come up with. I hope we will speak in a few years talking about, where you started this interview here and where you will be at the time. Of course, Kenya's tech industry is very vibrant, and there are a lot of Kenyan techies who have remote jobs, international jobs. They work from here. Others are even in the Silicon Valley. And so I would like to hear from you. Let's start with you, Veronica, in terms of having a global view of the world, beyond Kenya, beyond your classroom. studying your computer science? Beyond Kenya, what are you looking at? And what would be your message even for young girls who are dreaming to even be where you are right now?
I would really say, okay, first thing is just to thank like the hackathon first. I know it was very intense. Imagine within 30 hours, you had to brainstorm, come up with an idea, code. We had so many problems. We had merging issues. It was very hard for us to brainstorm and come up with a prototype within 30 hours. And to our surprise, yes, despite the challenges we faced, because I remember the time we were to present, we were working on a remote server. And that time, the remote server went on mute. And so we had nothing to present. But luckily, the few minutes before presentation, we had pushed some. It is an Android application. So we had a prototype on our phone. So we used that to present. And luckily, yes, we won. Actually, we were very happy. I personally was very happy. And like presenting Kenya in a Pan-African level really encouraged us that it's not just within Kenya, but we're still competing with other women in other countries, even though it's specifically Africa, but we really took Kenya to another step that maybe no one knew we could do that. And like I would really like to encourage women and ladies that you should always have that mentality that you can do it. Even if you undergo several challenges, you should always be optimistic that it will work at a given point or a given time. Everyone has his or her own time and her timings. And also, we are not even compacted into one place. Let's say Kenya. We can do it better in Africa, even more better across the world. Because we can still, we know that tech is too wide. You can work remotely and work for a big company, even while in Kenya. So having this initiative where ladies can do it and getting either, let's say, investors, we can easily come with more things that maybe we wouldn't have thought we could have done it. So I would really like to encourage every girl, every lady, every woman that tech is here to stay and we should embrace it. We should be the ones creating the solution and not necessarily using the solutions. Yeah,
we should be the ones creating the solutions. I like that because a lot of the technology that we use, we are mostly users. Most of the time, this side of the world, we are users, not creators. So I like that. And I hope that you go on to be a creator of a very important solution that solves Africa's problems, Yeah, let's hear from you, Antonina, in terms of going global, not just focusing on here, going global.
Yeah. I mean, by providing the opportunity, what we want, even the earlier program I talked on Computer for School, what we want is to expose our young people to the digital, to provide them this facility so that they are able to compete globally. And as my sister has just said, technology is what puts you on the same level with everyone around across the globe. And therefore, for us, as we do these programs, as we provide as simple as a computer, you'll be shocked across. There'll be a few institutions that might not have, but just by providing that, you put them on the same level, competing level across the world. And we hope as more of these innovations come, we are able to expose them to that market, and that's our vision as the foundation, that we see their story and we want to expose them to compete globally, because with the digital technology side, you're not divided by boundaries. They don't exist. You're all the same, and you're all able to compete.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, the need is very high. I'm really hoping that institutions, corporations are coming up with such programs such as yours to ensure that there's exposure for these young girls, these young techies, to the world. So as we come to a close of the conversation, I'd like you to give us your closing remarks. I'll start with you, Veronica. Tell us what the future is looking like. It could even be a week from now or 1 month from now. What are you looking at?
Looking forward to have a startup and also probably thank or encourage ABSA Foundation to continue with that initiative to empower more women and more ladies to be in STEM, and also innovate more, come up with a problem that is in your community, solve it, and then make sure you also share with someone so that it can be a gap that we've solved, which could be very innovative and reach a wider range. And also just be optimistic that everything or anything can happen. I never knew I'll be here, and I never knew I'll win. So anything can happen within a week, within a day, and maybe even tomorrow we might get investors. We never know. But we just say thank you for ABSA. Then thank you for my team members who are also part of the innovation. We have Dorcas Kalaka, Faith Chimtai, and Mawia Katiwa, who tried to brainstorm, come up with the idea, and then we became winners. And also the family at large, and everyone, and all the support system from ABSA and Girl Code.
Asante, that's very beautiful, and congratulations to you. Big congratulations. We can't wait to see what you will do in the future. Yourself, Antonina?
I'll also start with a note of appreciation. Such a platform is the exposure that we do look for, because now the innovation itself is known. I'll start with some statistics on the Girl Code itself. Our aim, maybe with such platforms, is to reach 1,000 young girls next year or the subsequent years in applying. Just this year we had 295 apply. So with such collaborations, it's possible. It's possible that young girls can know there's a platform for us and by us, and they can do much more. Just the limitation will be their dream, I think. Just that appreciation of this platform that you've given us to talk of the programs we have and what we hope to do in impacting young girls and their stories. Secondly, also to appreciate, even as we are here, it will not be fair to mention those who participated, the partners who were on board on Girl Code itself and made it happen. I'll start with the Safaricom Hook, who gave us their mentors, and they were very instrumental with the girls. Kappa Oil, who gave us kits that were able to sustain us through the period. Even data, providing the data in there. I want to also appreciate Telcom. So what does the future look like? The future for us is to mentor 1 million young people in Kenya who are change makers. We are not saying that's the end, but we want to start with 1 million young people through such programs, Girl Code, mentorship within our communities. And we hope to still work with partners like yourself, because this platform is good enough for everyone to know out there of the programs that we run within the ABSA Kenya Foundation.
Awesome. Asante sana. Thank you, and congratulations, and continue with the good work, guys. I have been speaking with two ladies who are charging the world in terms of technology. Antonina Moturi is a citizenship manager at ABSA Kenya Foundation, which runs the Girl Code Hackathon, empowering young girls to access opportunities in the tech industry. Veronica Anzimbu is a techie software developer, part of the group that won that particular hackathon this year's edition. And so we shall be following the stories of the women in technology and bringing them directly to you. Thank you very much for your valued company. My name is Betty Kiptum, and Lucy Maura there is my colleague on the sign language interpretation. Kurunzi Mashinani is coming up. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Bye-bye.